The 2 Count, where comedy meets wrestling. Please comment, share, and like, and if you're watching the live stream, join us with your comments and questions. And now here are the hosts of the 2 Count, comedian John Russell, and wrestling broadcaster Big Ace.
What do you know? What do you know? We made it through another week. Oh my gosh. Barely.
Yeah.
So how you doing there, buddy?
I'm all right. Just hanging out. It's raining like crazy. I'm assuming same with you.
No, it's not so bad up here. It started raining about 2:00, and it's not like heavy rain, but it's steady. I went over and watched the grandkids as they hung out in the hot tub.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, big deal.
I went and traded in some figures that I had collected.
Oh.
In trade, and got caught coming out in the rain. But I picked up. I don't know if you could see.
Hold on. Let me pop you up there closer.
Right there.
Yeah.
That Bushwhackers Hasbro in Spanish.
See.
Yeah. So
very nice.
I like it. Yeah. I don't know why I've gotten into it. If anybody watching, if you're get into this or getting into this, let me know. Send where you can find great stuff. But like I've all of a sudden this year decided I want to collect the LGN lines of figures, which I have. You can see Junkyard behind me, and if I move my head, you'll see Macho Man. There he is.
Yeah.
And so I want to collect those, and then I want to do all the Hasbros. Because those are I grew up, like my first wrestling toy ever was an LGN. I had the LGN red, white, and blue ring.
Yeah.
And I was so jealous when all my friends got the Hasbro ring. And I was like, I want the blue ring. I have this old thing. Now it's like, oh, man, no one had that LGN. Why did I break it?
Well, I had to wait till I had kids to buy that stuff.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean,
because it's like if you get a wife that's not into wrestling, it's hard to buy stuff. So. Once we had kids, we got the ring. We had a Jesse Ventura. Nice. We had a King Kong Bundy.
Were these the LGNs?
Yep. We had a Roddy Piper, and who else did we have? We had one other one. So we had 4 of them total. It was Bundy and I can't think of the 4th one. But of course, they all were also used as teething instruments by the kids as they were growing up. So Rowdy no longer had a kilt. Also, most of the if they had any fingers or anything like that pointing, they were gone, bitten off by young teeth, and a lot of the paint was scraped off as well. I mean, it was certainly not for a collector's item. I'll tell you that much.
And now it's like, because you don't think of that when you're, obviously, and everybody says this every generation about whatever toy it was they grew up on. You never think of, man, these things, and not so much for me worth the money. I don't really care if they're worth money now. It's like, because if I did, I would collect all the lines and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not. I really just want to collect the pop figures that you see behind me. That's an addiction, unfortunately. But as far as action figure wise, though, in the wrestling period, because I'm not collecting anything else. I had a few turtles from back in the day. I got rid of those. I actually traded some of those in for those Bushwhackers. But yeah, those were the ones that I remember the most. And man, I had a Ric Flair. I think I had I had Junkyard Dog as a kid, and I think I had Hillbilly Jim.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was just those were, and then the Hasbros. I had Hogan, I had Brutus, I had the Bushwhackers, which I now have again. I had Warrior, one of the Warrior ones. I think I had Boss Man. Like those were the toys, man. I loved those. So,
yeah.
It's just now I'm 38 years old and decided like now's the time to start collecting.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. And not to get too far afield from what we normally talk about, but the point is that collecting is a big thing for people. And most of the time when people start collecting, it's in a nostalgic way. Nobody like when they're 12 or 13 thinks, hey, I should buy this and never take it out and play with it. No kid thinks that. And so what happens is you get older and you have some nostalgia for that, then you start buying stuff, and so, for example, you got the Pop toys now. Well, now that you're old enough to buy them, you're not going to play with them.
Right.
So when something new comes out, you get it. It's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy it. I got it.
Well, what's great with the Pop things though is even those I'm buying of throwback things. Like I'm buying. Well,
yeah.
I'm buying the Flintstones character. I just picked up. Here, I'll show you these because it's stuff I grew up on. Can you see?
Yeah.
It?
Oh, that's oh my God, that is awesome.
Like I don't. These probably will.
The Rabbit of Seville.
Yeah, these guys will probably never be worth money or anything. I don't care, but
it is to you.
They look cool, and
that's what's important.
And it's stuff I grew up on.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like you know me long enough. I got a collection of lunchboxes.
Yeah, man.
And I have a Hulk Hogan blue plastic one, and I have a. We talked about this, I think, 4 or 3 shows ago, and I've got a Macho Man Slim Jim, which wasn't a lunchbox; it was a display that they sold the Slim Jims out of.
I've seen that. I've seen that on Zack Ryder's figure show.
Yeah.
That one place.
So I got those two. I think I might have one more like WWF superstars.
Don't ever get rid of those.
Dude, I won't. I'll sell them to you.
I was gonna say, yeah. If you don't keep them,
I'll sell them. I'll sell them. Yeah, you just basically all you want to. If so, here's the thing: you got to make me an offer now.
I don't do that
because if I die within the next couple of weeks, my kids are going to go through that shit and they're going to sell it.
Well,
you won't have a chance.
How about you just don't die in the next couple of weeks? That'd be good.
Well, okay. I didn't mean like the next. I mean, like next few weeks.
Yeah, I think for the longevity of the show and for how much we're putting into this, you're gonna have to commit a little bit more.
We'll see.
Stuck, bro.
We'll see. Speaking of collectibles, for anybody that's watching, if you didn't see our little ad on the Facebook page, we now, ladies and gents, have 2 shirts available. We're going to have 3. And I'll show you the 3rd one after. But let me run this little ad for you and see if you're interested. You might want to buy a shirt and support the show. Yeah, well, I'm not real terribly great at editing, but those are going to be 2 great shirts. And I didn't. I should have, but I didn't. So one's just a logo, and one is the count. And we talked about that. That's totally a Jerico Cruise thing.
Yeah, that chant started on there, but then when we decided the 2 count, it was like, well, we have to do things that involve the number 2s.
Yeah,
and I mean that's just a great one.
So we've got that one that's just the count's face, with one and 2 underneath. But then to make it more wrestling, we're going to have this one. I've been working on this one this afternoon. So we've got that, and there he is in his referee shirt, which I think is going to be a big seller. At least until we get a cease and desist. We probably won't. But those are.
We do. Let's just take his monocle off.
Well, you got to change like 80%, and it's 80%. I mean, 80% of that's not the count. Because he's not in a cape. He doesn't have his, all of that stuff. It's nobody would, whatever. I don't care. So anyway, we'll have that up there too if you want to go and look at that one. Yeah. So. support the show, buy some shirts, and we'll put the link in the comments. It's Spreadshirt. It's shop.spreadshirt.com/2count show. I think that's how great a marketer I am, baby. Anyway,
hey man, you're busy. You got a lot of things going on, and unfortunately, everything you're doing right now is like online and links and all that stuff. So, there's no worries,
and also for no money. So,
well, that's how it all starts, right?
Yeah. Well, it's got to start somewhere, I reckon.
Yeah.
So speaking of money, at least here in the state of Minnesota, I know other places in the country, comedy clubs have been opening up. In Minnesota, some comedy clubs are opening up. To be God honest, I don't know why, because technically they can only open up 25%.
Yeah, so something like, because I mean, do you call it your home club, Goonies, here in town?
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, so your home club, Goonies, here in town, where I'm at, 25% in that venue is not a lot of people because it's not a big venue.
It's about 30 people.
Right.
And here's the situation too. Because Goonies Comedy Club, where I like to call my home, is inside a bar and restaurant called the Crooked Pint. They're not going to open until July 11th.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they're just not gonna. So the whole month of March is out, and we never do anything over the July 4th weekend, no matter where it falls, because it just screws things up. So July 11th is what they're shooting at. Some of the clubs up here in town that have massive rooms are going to do shows live. For example, House of Comedy is going to start doing shows this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that comedy at the mall, and they're doing like Minnesota's best. So it sounds like it's going to be
it's
the start.
It's going to be locals to start with, yeah, and that's fine. But I mean, that room holds over 300 people, so 25% of that is still a good audience.
Yeah,
you know, Acme is doing the same thing. The difference with Acme is Acme Comedy Club, which is well known across the country, is one of the top comedy clubs there is. They're going to do a show also with local guys. But they're also going to stream, and they had set up the streaming before any of this happened, before COVID, because they were going to do that, I believe, anyway. So that's interesting. But some of the smaller clubs, it's just not going to. I mean, you can't make enough money. You can't pay the talent to make a trip there. That's why they got to use locals, and So
how's that going to work then for here? If Crooked Pint isn't open, does that mean that's where you're waiting to, or are you opening before that?
So,
because would they be able to do food and beverage then?
Well, no. I mean, Goonies is 100% at the mercy of Crooked Pint.
Yeah.
And the other part of that is, even if Crooked Pint opened, Goonies would not open because he can't make enough money at 25%. Mm-hmm. We are also talking about streaming because right now the only show that I have booked is like July 26th. 26th, July 26th. I might have one June 26th and 27th. I'm not sure exactly yet. Yeah. So I don't have anything going on. So if we talk about streaming, we might do streaming from there because if you can only have 50 people in there. That's still not a full room. Mm-hmm. But if it sells out, then we open it up to streaming, I guess. I don't know. We're talking about it still.
Yeah,
but it's a hard thing because this happens, and it also is, as we often talk, comedy and wrestling are related. The big guys can still do what they're doing. They're still putting out television programs. And the indie guys are sort of screwed right now. Not only do they have to have a venue, but they can only have 25%. Depending on what the state calls for. I'm sure there are some places that'll allow them. I'm sure if somebody wanted to do an indie wrestling show in Utah, they could probably do okay. But I don't know how. Salt Lake City's the only place you could do it, really, in that area.
I talked to Wes Briscoe a few days ago, he actually went to a show a week ago. That he wasn't in it, he was just at it, but it was one of the first ones he went to. He said there was like 50 people in there.
Yeah,
it was good. Like he said, everybody had a blast. It was a good time. He has his first actual in-ring show this weekend in Cocoa Beach for Atomic Revolution Wrestling, which everybody, if you've never heard of Atomic out of Florida, check them out. It's a great independent promotion that they got going down there. So he has his first show this weekend. So we'll hopefully have some, like, I think he's going to try to vlog or at least get some video of the day just to see what an independent wrestling show is going to look like in the pandemic era. With the attitude era to the pandemic era.
Yeah.
Damn it. You're fired. So it'll be interesting. So hopefully that'll come. I'll share some on our social media as well as, it'll be on the Briscoe and Big A stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll probably, again, we're going to do a show, I think, tomorrow. So we'll talk a little bit more about what he knows, because he's also kind of involved as a booker and stuff with Atomic, that we'll talk about kind of the planning that's going into this show with the whole social distancing in mind and stuff like that. But it's weird. Unfortunately, I think comedy is going to have a little bit of a harder sell, because I do think, well, it depends in the states.
It's state by state.
Yeah, because it really does. I mean, it depends where it's at. Like, and like you said, it depends on, like some of these wrestling shows, if there's a place where they can get 50, 60 people, and they do kind of what these comedy places are doing now, run just local talent, like the people who go to their schools, who they can just be like, hey, we're gonna knock some tuition off, or here's $20 for the match tonight, or again, it's known you don't make a lot of money on these shows, so I feel like they would be able to thrive a little bit better in a smaller room, because it's also easy. You can charge $5-10 at the door, and it's gonna be instant action, even if it's not
well, exactly.
Where I feel like comedy is one of those things, if you're paying for it, you want to know you're getting good comedy, right? And that's not going to happen, but it just may not be on par for what it would normally be in a smaller show when you're doing that. That again, it is both of them are going to struggle for sure, and I really feel for the comedy world, because you guys, it's rough when you're just trying to get gigs and be a steady comedian.
And the whole thing is going to be very similar, because the top guys are going to be working levels down, because there's only so much work. When everybody's up and running, it'll get back to normal, but there's going to be a bottleneck and a traffic jam of comics. So the reality is that if you go to a comedy show like right now, I think at the bigger clubs, you're going to have bigger names. At the smaller clubs that have booked out a long way, like I know the bookers that we use, they book out a long way. So there's going to be, people are already booked through the summer, and they just hold them on the calendar. That once they close, they just don't throw everybody off. They just cancel it as things go along. So. But anyway, there's that point. The other thing is that even in the face of all this, the Jericho Cruise is pretty dang close to sold out.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, yeah. And I just...
Well, age shows you people need a vacation.
Oh, yeah.
B, I mean, there's a lot of people have previously been on it.
Yeah,
it is. It's just an easy thing to go. It's like a WrestleMania week. There's those people who go to every WrestleMania, and it's their week long spring vacation, which is awesome. I've done it. I've done like 5 of them now, 6 of them, whatever, and it's a blast. And I will do them again. Hopefully someday we can get to that point where we can do it again, at least on the scale that it's supposed to be done on. But there's something special about the cruise. I don't know. I think it really is. You're on there with everybody, and everybody's there to be together and have a good time. talent included. And again, it's a lot of, you're just mixed up with everybody.
Right.
You're meeting all kinds of just great wrestling fans, just like you, from across the world. And the talent is very accessible and is enjoying their time with you. And it's not like you're just, oh, I'm a fan of you. Like, eventually it's just a good time.
Yeah.
So it's it's crazy. What's crazy about it is it's still so uncertain. I mean, I'm hoping, you're hoping February is going to happen.
Yeah.
Never know though. I wouldn't be shocked if it gets moved back a little bit, but the thing is, I'm going either way. Like, even if it gets moved back, I'm gonna go that.
Yeah.
So that's why it just made sense for me to book. And I know there was a lot of people who didn't know if they should book that trip yet. For me, plane tickets is the thing that I'm kind of nervous about, because I haven't really gotten a final answer on, can you change your dates? Do you have to pay to change your dates? Anything, is there insurance? I don't, because that's the thing. I don't want to buy, because tickets are at a good price right now and they're going to go up. So it'd be nice to buy right now, but I don't want to buy tickets now and then find out later that was money wasted because I can't transfer them if it gets moved.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We've even thrown the idea out though of driving from Minnesota down there. So who knows? We'll see.
It's not that big of a haul.
No, not with 3 of us in the car, and we can take 2 days to do it.
Yeah, it's a ways, but it's nothing terrible. I mean, I drove from Minneapolis to Grand Junction, Colorado in one day.
Oh yeah.
And then from Grand Junction, Colorado to Winnemucca, Nevada in one day.
Nice.
So I can do it. We can do it.
Oh,
it's doable.
Yeah,
all
definitely.
right.
But that is, I mean, I'm glad that we booked. And what the crazy thing is, I still don't think it's gone on sale to the public.
No, it's still all the pre-book stuff.
It is still just the pre-sale. First was obviously alumni got first bookings. And I think a week or two ago, it finally hit to where that was done. And it was now going to the people who have not been on it before, but signed up for the pre-sale. I think they're still in that. Maybe just even released another thing of dates or still have a chance to sign up. I don't know. I didn't see, but they're adding a lot of cool things on this. I keep seeing that apparently they're going to do a Family Feud now with Jericho hosting.
Oh, wow.
On the boat. I don't know.
That's fun.
I read that. And there's cool things too, and this is what makes this cruise a lot of fun. Is again, the people that you meet, the people who are involved, don't do it. Okay, sorry, I thought my cat was jumping from the couch to the surfboard. He was looking at it and he was ready to leave. I was like, I will straight punch you. It'll be like when Keith Lee just launched Adam Cole into or Johnny Gargano into the hockey boards. We'll talk about. It was it's cool because people do cool stuff. I've seen somebody say that they're going to make up those rubber wristbands that say the Jericho Cruise and just hide them all over the boat for people to find and keep.
Oh, cool.
Someone else was making shirts, as in like the Bullet Club shirts.
Oh yeah, I saw those
with the deck numbers.
Yeah,
they're on deck 11, which we're deck 11.
We're gonna get if we're gonna get shirts, we're gonna get that say deck 8. I don't want anybody to know what fucking deck I'm on.
No. You can on this. That's the other thing is you don't have to hide from anybody on this. So it's fine. Plus, I'll be drunk and tell everybody where we're at anyway. So you're not
okay.
You will not be safe. Plus, you're going to be out and about with me. So yeah, but the thing is that spawned off into now Pro Wrestling Tees is going to sell her design that she made, and they're selling them for every deck.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Like, that's just the cool stuff that happens. Again, we had Brad Williams on. That was a great honor for us to have that guy on the show last week. And that stemmed from, he was on the cruise. I was on the cruise. We met, emailed, took a shot and emailed, and it happened.
Yeah.
So, which here's what's funny, guys. I need to buy another power cable extension cord to have my setup running how I have it, JR. Mm-hmm. And I keep forgetting to buy it. So what I have to do is take the extension cord that runs my cat's drinking fountain so I can power my mixer, because I had to move things to have a better shot. And I just felt horrible because he just spent 5 minutes looking at it like, why is my water not free? I'm thirsty.
Can we all, just as a group,
It's funny.
decide that we should give Ace enough money to get another extension?
Here's the deal. I have like 20 of them in my DJ gear at my sister's garage. I just haven't gone and got one yet. I need to go do it. Anyway, I just thought it was funny because he just looks so sad, and I was just like, sucks to be you, buddy.
That's mean to do to a cat.
The other night, I do not starve or make my cat go thirsty, if anybody thinks.
That's probably good. All right, folks, we're going to take a little quick break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about NXT TakeOver, and we'll talk about some wrestling stuff. We'll be right back after this. See, that was a short, quick break. I didn't run the T-shirt ad again.
You should have.
I should have, but I didn't because I don't want to like oversaturate things. Anyway,
yeah. So very, very cool. Again, that cruise, man. It brings people together. They do cool things. And this year, hopefully, we'll get that live Dynamite, and that'll be a fun experience.
Yeah, that'd be really something.
But so there was a big show this week. Crazy 2 weeks right now, right? Because we just had this big takeover show in your house, and now we're about to go into WWE Backlash.
Yeah,
which we'll touch on Backlash in a little bit. But let's get to I think the more fun part of what happened this last week in the world of wrestling, and that is the WWE NXT takeover in your house. First of all, just what did you think overall of the show before we kind of get into segments?
So I'll be honest with you, and we've talked about this before. I on Wednesday nights I watch AEW Dynamite. It's very rare that I watch NXT, but I know the players enough to know that when there's a pay-per-view I can watch that. But I don't know what I was doing Sunday that got me so late, but I did not watch it until like 11 o'clock when I started, and I didn't want to watch it. So I selected 3 things that I knew I wanted to see. And the 3 matches that I watched, which were all excellent, was I watched Keith Lee and Gargano. I watched the main event with Charlotte, Io, and Rhea. And what was the other one I watched? This is how, God damn it, man. I watched one more. Adam Cole and the Dream. And I thought all 3 of them were good. I thought I really liked the Keith Lee Gargano one. I liked the Adam Cole and Dream one, but not as much because they tried to do the sort of the theatrical, and it didn't work for me. That one didn't work for me as well as some of the other ones that have been done. But I still enjoyed it. And then the main event I thought was fantastic for a whole bunch of reasons. But I mean, it was a lot of fun, the matches that I watched, and I may go back and watch more, but I likely won't.
If you do, I suggest you do. I watched from top to bottom. Great show. Now, before we get into the matches and stuff, though, just how fun was it? Just the nostalgic feel the show had. They really played into the old WWF in your house, which, in case anybody's unfamiliar with, that's what really set off pay-per-views. You've always had the big 4. It started with WrestleMania, right?
Yep.
Started with WrestleMania. I think, was it maybe Survivor Series was at it next? Then the Rumble and SummerSlam. Either way, I don't know. I don't remember the order off the top of my head because it's been a minute since I've looked at those kind of numbers. But you had your big 4 for years. It was the big 4. There were no other pay-per-views. It was happening every 3 weeks. It was the big 4, and which I almost miss. I almost miss it because you just looked so forward to those shows. But also during that time, it wasn't as weekly TV, I don't believe, at that time.
It was, so at the time of WrestleMania, if I recall correctly, WWF was on a weekly basis on USA, or maybe it was MSG at the time, Madison Square, but they were on a network on cable. And they also had some syndication that was out. And as I recall, they had a couple of shows. They had, and I don't remember the days, but they had Tuesday Night Titans, which was not, it was more of a like screw around show. That Vince was the host and Lord Alfred Hayes was the Jim Ed McMahon to Johnny Carson,
right?
And they developed a lot of stuff with that. But as far as actual shows, I don't recall exactly what it was. They had a Saturday morning show.
Yeah, they had Super Years.
Yep. They had, but it wasn't like Monday Night Raw.
No,
it became the staple. All right.
Yeah, they were doing like Superstars. They were doing the Tuesday Night Titans. They were doing not weekly, but every once in a while, the Saturday Night Live main event.
Yeah.
It was some of that was what was going on, and then eventually,
and of course they were doing MTV too, because that's how the first. That's how the first really how the first WrestleMania came about.
Yeah, the Rock and Wrestling Connection.
Yeah,
special on MTV, which then spawned into WrestleMania 1. So the thing with these is that they finally hit a point where the business is picking up. It's exciting. They want to do more. They can do more. The numbers are there. Vince is that guy. That's the credit to Vince as the man he is in the world of wrestling. He did make it what it is. He brought it to that level, to that scale, and it was these moves that did it. 4 pay-per-views in a year, we can do more and make more and push more, and he wasn't wrong. It's storytelling now in the last 15 years.
Here's what I'm saying, and storytelling aside, because a lot of times some of those stories were not the greatest, but what he did was he built the structure. You know, he built the model, and I mean, obviously WCW followed that model because they had it wasn't monthly, but they had pay-per-views about every 2 months. And it was the same thing. AWA tried to do that. They did not succeed very well with pay-per-views, but they did still have weekly programming like Vince did. Unfortunately, it was not on a network that anybody cared about.
Was that when it was on ESPN, or is that?
Yeah. And plus, they were still trying to do syndicated programming. They were still trying. You know, that's the thing. In all industries, what happens is you've got a situation where there's the way that it was always done, and somebody switches the game around and starts succeeding, and you got somebody like Vern Gagne who's like, that's never going to work. We're doing it the way we've always done it. And I've worked for people in radio that's what they do. Yeah. And what happens is you function more out of a fear of loss than an anticipation of gain. Vince McMahon functions on the anticipation of gain versus the fear of loss. At least he did then. I think it's probably different now.
Definitely. But it was cool because this was again, what these In Your Houses did is really became the start of the monthly pay-per-view where you got, Backlash, Payback, King of the Ring. I can't even think of all of the names of all of these.
Yeah, there's just
so many. I mean, there really are so many different pay-per-views that they did. That they all originally started. It was as In Your House, and the very first one they gave away a damn house.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and the set really did kind of look like that.
I mean, it was from a pure nostalgic point. It was almost exactly like one of those In Your House pay-per-views.
It was very well done,
except with the exception of the hockey boards.
Yeah, I enjoyed the nice Todd Pettengill comeback in the opening and just the cut-ins. That's something I think people forget, man. Back in the day, that Todd Pettengill guy was an
Oh yeah,
he was always doing those spots. And then even with the promotional consideration paid by the following, which was Regal, right? It was Regal doing it instead of Lord Alfred Hayes. And then like the throwback Ico Pro with Adam Cole, where he was doing like the old Bret Hart Ico Pro commercial from back. It was just a really fun watch. Like that part was a super fun watch. But yeah, and I'm glad that they took it. They like this is what you would want on the main roster right now.
Yeah,
and they're whatever. So first match, Mia Yim again. I think you said you may have not seen this one, but
didn't watch this one. Nope.
Mia Yim, Tegan Knox, Shotzi Blackheart against Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. This one had a couple different things going on. Mia Yim obviously going to have a thing with Candice LeRae. Tegan Knox obviously having her troubles with Dakota Kai and that Raquel Gonzalez. Shotzi Blackheart just seems to be thrown in this to help Tegan Knox. Either way, it worked. It was a fun match to watch. I'm all in on Dakota Kai, man. That girl could be face or heel, and I'm entertained. And I like because in this match, it kind of broke down to that you were going to see Dakota Kai and Gonzalez have issues.
Yeah.
She did accidentally, it was one of those, but it's going to be fun to watch that happen as well. I'm curious to see if they're done with Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai, what will be next for Tegan Knox. But next was Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Did you see this one?
I did not. Well, let's be honest. Some of it, I kind of looked at it and I'm like, nah, because I'm not a fan of Damian Priest. I didn't feel compelled to watch that one.
Yeah, I like him. I get it. I'm not super over on Damian Priest. This match helped me become more of a fan of it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you got Finn Balor in there. I mean, the guy's just a great worker. It was a great match. Damian Priest came from the Monster Factory. Good work happens out there. So that's, he's going to do a great job as well. And again, like I said, this match helped me kind of become more open to Damian Priest. So I enjoyed it. Worth a watch if you get some time and you're just looking for something to watch. The next match was the NXT North American Championship. Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano. This was no holds bar, right? Was this match?
Yeah, I think it was. I really enjoyed it for a lot of reasons. I thought that Gargano did a good job, and I thought them working on his hand was excellent. But ultimately, I just felt like there's no way Keith Lee cannot win.
Yeah, that would have definitely. I mean, there would be nothing you can do with Keith Lee if he would have just lost this match.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was great. They made him look strong. I mean, they literally had him get stabbed in the eyeballs twice in the same week for this match. So, I mean, and for him to still win after, again, being stabbed in the eyeball with a key, which is hilarious. I love that he went running to the door at one point, Gargano, and like knocking on it. And they're like, no one's in there. Plus, you have the key, idiot. Like, unlock it and go away.
He didn't want to go in his pants again.
Oh man, it was great. It was entertaining. I think we could have done without the Candice LeRae and Mia Yim, but it did add a little something extra.
Yeah.
I think it went too quick though. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like Mia Yim should have had her yield a couple seconds. Like it was as soon as he did the point that like Candice LeRae was behind, Mia Yim was already out of behind her. Like I would have loved to have him turn around and be like, "Oh no, I'm trapped." For a second and be like, oh, then all of a sudden he sees Mia Yim come out and it's like, you turn around. But I mean, literally he was just like, huh? Oh, like it was good. expense to it. They didn't build it. But whatever. It still was a great match. Gargano taking that big hit through the hockey boards. At least they're using him for what they're meant to be used to,
right?
Or if they're going to have him out there. It was a really good match, and I'm glad to see Keith Lee win. Keith Lee's got a big future on the main roster when it's his time. I think Johnny Gargano's getting close to his time, although he seems to be like one of those ones that I don't know if I actually want to go up. Like, yeah, he might be in NXT for his WWE career, and which is fine.
Yeah,
but the other thing too is we had that tease with Candice LeRae. Like, she was in the Rumble the one year. I think she even did one match on a Raw or SmackDown, and then just nothing, right back down to the again, I love what they're doing with her. What was it? The Pixie Poison or something was the name they're giving
Poison Pixie or something like that.
And she had like the burnt wing or the messed up wings and everything.
Yeah.
Like, definitely like a really cool transformation from her babyface to heel. Like, that's what they probably wanted to do with Bayley.
Well, yeah.
Which is fine, because now it's clicking for Bayley as a heel. So, all right, we have the Backlot Brawl, NXT Championship. Adam Cole, a Velveteen Dream. I thought we were about to get a reenactment of the Hogan and Big Show monster truck match on the top. It
was pretty, with the cars and shit.
Yeah, where Big Show dies. Like, people seem to forget that Hulk Hogan killed the Big Show on WCW television.
Yeah. Look, I don't mind that they do those. I think the hokiness of the, did anybody call for an Uber? It's like, here's the thing. How can I do this? When I watch something like the Stadium Stampede, and then I watch them do that, it's not the same. There's humor and fun in when AEW does it. When WWF does it, it's like they're trying too hard to be cool.
Yeah.
And that never works.
Right. Well, and the big difference there, though, is you're getting in WWE, you're getting these lines fed to them. This is scripted.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody call an Uber? Where, when you see those funny moments in AEW during the match, especially with like when Inner Circle is involved in anything, you can tell that's just them going and having fun and playing off each other.
Yeah.
Not being fed lines. They're not given the script saying word for word, this is what we want you to say. It's here's what we want to do. Have fun with it. But even when it's like, okay, you're gonna chase Sammy in the gator all the way down the field, and that they didn't just say, hey, we should do this. They did ultimately, but the whole thing is they knew they were going to do it, and it's the same thing. WWE knew they were going to have somebody drive up and say, hey, did anybody call for an Uber? And because they thought it'd be funny. But the reality is that it's not funny because it's not in character with anybody, and it's not somebody that's involved. It's outside of what the hell's going on. Well, and I think the other thing too is it's just too hard to believe that stuff when it's very easily, you can tell that was done on a set. Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure that was Full Sail University and their set where they shoot like scenes and shit. Where you look at the Stadium Stampede match, and I know people are like, "Why are we comparing?" We're not. But it's just to me that these things are glaring. There is a difference. It's not a one is better than the other. I'm just saying the things that I don't like because, and I don't like them because they don't work. And the reason they don't work is because they're not organic. They're forced. Yeah, which that's the WWE way now. Yeah. And that's the other thing too, like the Stadium Stampede, that was in a legitimate stadium. There was nothing you can fake about the surroundings, where again, the success of that Boneyard match to me in my head was, this will be the curse now.
Absolutely.
They're going to think they can do that, and they're going to try to do it and we see that it doesn't always work. I mean, there was great things in that Money in the Bank match, but there was some things in that Money in the Bank match I was like, huh.
Glaring crap.
You know what I mean? So
it's the same thing with this match. I mean, overall, I liked it.
Yeah, it was the action. I liked. I'm not a Walking Dead guy, so that was all lost on me as far as how Velveteen Dream was dressed on it. I knew who he was when he came out, but I've never really watched it. So, but that is something cool. It's always fun to see when the superstars can kind of bring things into their world like that.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I wish we would have gotten some more action out of that baseball bat, though. I feel like that didn't happen. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was very reminiscent of the Eddie Guerrero John Cena backlot brawl in the arena parking lot, if you remember that one, and then Chavo coming in, which of course we had the Undisputed Era come in. So yeah, again, it's just some of the things where they think they can do things kind of cinematic and pre-planned way that's not always going to work out.
Yeah,
some really big spots though, man. I mean, the spot onto the windshield.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Was amazing. I mean, I don't know if that was a work on his arm or if that was legit, but I mean, like that looked like it hurt.
Yeah,
for real. And there was some hard hits in that one.
Yeah,
which that was something too. Real quick, going back to Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Damian Priest took a pretty sick bump off of the ropes onto the steps that he overshot. And it was all hips and lower back on it. It was rough. Like I was like, damn. That alone's worth watching that match.
Yeah. Okay. So you sold me on that. I'll go back and watch that.
Yeah, because it was all lower back, hips, and some of the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hoping to go shoulder blades back on that. That's how you need to bump on it. And he came down on it hard. Yeah, so Tommaso Ciampa carrying Cross with Scarlett. People are freaking out since these two debuted about their entrance. It's cool. It's cool. There's a part that I don't like, and maybe I'm being picky, but there's a part where Scarlett will get in the ring and she starts kind of wording the song that's playing because it's a woman singer.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just tell. I mean, first of all, there's like a whole verse to the song before she gets to the ring that she's not mouthing her mouth to.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And then all of a sudden she's like doing that and she's really just doing it. And it's just, to me, it's just like, why? I'd rather you come into ring and just sell it. Like, I don't need you wording the words with your mouth.
Maybe it's her favorite song.
I don't know. I mean, it's theirs. I mean,
well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know. It's things like that to me that look like forced. It's like it doesn't even look natural that she's maybe singing this song. I know that maybe that's what she's not, but there can be a better way to tie that into the entrance if that's what you want to do. Like maybe not have a whole verse in front of it.
So maybe the idea is that they're trying to get people to sing along with her.
No, they are, because there's a part where she starts yelling.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then the crowd, the NXTers were yelling it. So obviously, yes, there's something that they're going to try to build for him. But man, it was a good match. Obviously, Karrion Kross has been kind of getting the jump on Ciampa going into this match as far as attacking him without being, without Ciampa knowing it's coming.
Yeah.
Ciampa just went right at him in the match. That was fun. And it was a good match, man. They made Karrion Kross look strong, look tough. He is a big dude. Like it was a fun match to watch. They made Karrion Kross look real tough. I don't know why. They made him look real tough. And I was worried that they were going to, because in my mind, I was like, if you put Kross over on Ciampa right now, you're killing everything you just did for Ciampa. And like, I just don't know if Karrion Kross is like, should he get that big win already?
Yeah.
You need to put a little time in. Plus, if you're going to have Cross go over Ciampa and he's now going to be one of the next big things in NXT, you damn sure better pull the trigger on pushing Ciampa to the main roster, because that's something we talked about earlier today. The main rosters for WWE could really use some of these NXTers to be called up right now to just be a breath of fresh air, because the show, the Raw and SmackDowns are getting a little stale, especially Raw. It's getting a little stale. It's a lot of the same stuff. It's a lot of callbacks.
Same matches over and over.
Yeah, it's getting rough. So bring these guys up. I would be excited for that. But yeah, that was a great match. I don't know. You didn't see that one?
I did not watch that one, but I will go back and watch it.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Ciampa loses, but he never tapped out or got pinned. It was a pass out. And this is something I was wondering too. Maybe you can give me your opinion on this. He got put into a submission. Ciampa goes out. That's how the match ends. Whatever happened to the 3 drops of the arm when someone's in a submission?
They don't do it.
I'm talking about the whole one, two, and then if you're Hogan, and then that's when he hulks up and stuff. Now I get why it didn't happen here, because that was the finish. And obviously Cross was going over, so that's what they did. But they don't do that anymore at all.
No, they don't.
Really?
It's because it's I'm sure it's like, oh, that's a waste of time.
That was
story. It's part of the storytelling, and they've just taken it out. It's like just saying, hey, we don't want you to use a comma anymore. It's just part and parcel to everything that they do. And I don't want to get all shitty about it, but it's like, the surprise roll up, there's just so much that they've taken away, that helps you suspend disbelief, and that's part of it. When you see that, look, even when I was a kid, I knew, well, he ain't putting them to sleep, because that's not how that shit works. But it helped me believe what was going on. And that's what we all want. We want to believe that this is going on. We want the story to be what the story is. And when they take parts of it out that help tell the story, they don't do themselves any favors.
Yeah. When we had talked to Dr. Tom Pritchard last week, Wes and I, that was something he felt very strong about. And that is they have lost the art of the storytelling during a match, and I couldn't agree more. Again, though, I really do think this In Your House was pretty good. Let's get to that NXT Women's Championship. This was the main event. Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai. Great match. I'm super pumped Shirai won. I didn't see it coming. I really thought they'd kept that thing on Charlotte.
I did too.
I really thought.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't hear, and I'll say it because of this. I thought Rhea Ripley was going to win. I didn't think Io Shirai was going to win. I felt like they were going to take it off of Charlotte, because Charlotte's got to go and get the belt on one of the main shows. She's not going to get it from. So here's what I believe, and we talked about this a little briefly. So here's what I believe, and I should speed through it. What I believe is going to happen is Charlotte drops that belt at the pay-per-view. She will then she got involved with this kind of rigmarole with Sasha and Bayley. What's going to happen is somehow at some point she and Bayley are going to she's going to win the SmackDown belt, because Bayley and Sasha will still have the tag belts, and then they will lose the tag belts, and that'll finally start their feud, and then they'll finish their feud with no belt.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. I think that's where a lot of this is going to head. Could that have been done in a different way? I think pulling the trigger now, well, to me, the Bayley and Sasha should have ended with a title match. I think that feud and them trying to make it personal because they're friends would have played much better if they kept going with how Bayley was undercutting her and treating her shorter. That was the time. Now we have to go through the period of them as tag champs again to get to that again. And then, like you said, probably not even for a title when these two get into it. Again, just lost opportunity to me.
But to me, that's how short-sighted it is.
And it is very much
how
so.
Short-sighted it is. Like, hey, what's the easiest way for us to do this?
Yeah, and I wonder if part of the reason they're doing this though is because they don't want to give a lot right now since there's no fans.
Right.
So and that's the one thing AEW hasn't shied away. For a minute they did, but then they kind of got with it and we're like, okay, Double or Nothing's going to happen. We need to make it happen. Now Fighter is happening. It's going to be a 2-week event. They just realized we have to do this. And what we're doing is working. So let's further our storylines. And they are. And it's great. And yes, would have been great to have a crowd there for Matt Hardy's debut. Yes. For the Exalted one. Yes. For the Revival making their debut. Yes. But it can't be. And you can't just water down the product till it can be. So yeah, I guess it is what it is.
It's a good point, Dan. And I don't know, like, so here's what I know. I mean, Asuka has a hard time speaking, and obviously somebody thinks that it's hilarious when she screams and yells annoyingly. I'm a big Asuka fan, as far as her talent. As a wrestler, I think she's awesome.
Amazing.
But they're not doing her any favors. And I don't know. But they're gonna keep. I think she's gonna keep that belt, and we've gone astray a little bit. But I mean, whatever. Let's go back to the.
You're good on that, because that can we can segue in real quick just to finish up the In Your House stuff. Great show.
They do. The fans change
everything. It's hard. And again, we've talked about this. The big difference between what we're getting with the WWE product, AEW product right now, being that they can't have these fans, is they on AEW, they're letting the talent go have fun and let them enjoy wrestling. WWE, you're putting these NXTers through just tons of hours of tapings. They are not being, from what I've read and heard, not being treated the same as the talent, since they're just the audience. And again, you can guarantee they're being told when to cheer, that they're not cheering hard enough. They need to look more excited, boo at this part, all this stuff, where everything you're seeing on AEW is just them being letting loose and having fun. So that is a big difference why I think some of the stuff in AEW is really going a lot smoother, because you're still getting somewhat that fan reaction, because the talent is their fans. They're having fun.
Yeah.
And they're being told what to do.
And here's the other thing too. You and I talked about this a little bit earlier today. Bill, the fans do change everything. And if you go back about a year when Vince and everybody came and said, we don't write this show for the fans in the stadium. We write it for television. Now, if that was anywhere close to true, you would think that the product now with no fans would be much, much better.
Right.
But it's not. And it's actually worse. And the reason it's worse is because, as much as he wants to say we don't write it for the fans in the arena, he sure as hell does, because he has no idea what to do without fans.
Yeah, that, or he is really that out of touch at this point. Maybe he should just try to do the limo bit again. Anyways, though, final grade NXT In Your House.
For me, I mean, I only watched half of it. I'll have to go watch some more of it. But I would certainly say that for the matches and the entertainment value that I had for what I watched, I'd give it an easy, A-.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We'll put an asterisk to that A- till he sees the rest of the show, but I don't think it's going to change. I'm going to go right there with you. A-. It had nostalgia. It had just fun. The DX part, did you see that?
Yes.
The DX promo with the three of them looking at the computer like they don't know what the hell it is. It's just them having fun, but that's what's fun about it, And the matches were great. So yeah, I'm going A- as well. Great show. Hopefully we can see NXT maybe rub off a little bit on the main show. And being that we don't need to talk Raw or anything, we're already past all that. Let's just get the Backlash preview. We'll give our thoughts on what we think going down this Sunday, and then we'll wrap her up for the night. So
sounds good to me.
Backlash. All right.
To be honest with you, didn't even know it was going to be on this Sunday.
That's why I said, 2 weeks right in a row.
Dude, absolutely. That is as much. See, and this is the thing, Bill. As much as I love the fact that he won, I felt so terrible for him that he didn't get to do it in front of his audience, because people would have erupted for that.
Yeah, it would have been a huge moment.
He's more than deserving, and yeah, it just sucks. But it's unfortunately the way that it's the way they had to do it, I guess.
And hopefully he'll have a chance to be in front of the fans with that title. But yeah, so let's get into Backlash real quick. I'll give you the rundown. Just tell me what you think.
All right,
and then we'll give me your prediction.
Yeah,
and then we'll start with Apollo Crews versus Andrade.
I'm glad Apollo Crews
a championship.
I'm glad Apollo Crews has that belt. He deserves it as well, and I think he'll retain.
I think so too. I don't see them giving this up quite easily. And yeah, cool. I was a little upset to see Kevin Owens was getting involved in that, because I feel he should be way higher on the card, but that's another story. Bayley and Sasha are the women's tag champs against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross and Iconics. I mean, to be honest, this is a good chance for them to pull the trigger on the Bayley Sasha stuff to start, because let's be honest, they're not going to be the tag champs long. They just shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. So I especially because Bayley still has the title, right? So
yeah, Bayley 2 belts, baby.
Keep her Bayley 2 belts long. And this just seems like a great way. Plus, if you saw SmackDown, they do this 3-way, or no, it was Asuka. It was Bliss and Nikki Cross weren't there. Instead, it was Asuka and Charlotte. Yeah. But it ended with the Iconics, Asuka and Charlotte, and Bayley and Sasha were nowhere near the end of that match. So this just really does spell out that it's a good way to have those two have their problems there. We get some more legitimate match between the other two teams. Those two need to have their rubber match, the Bliss Cross and the Iconics.
Yeah.
Who wins? I don't know. I feel like they're really getting the Iconics ready for a second run.
Well, I love the Iconics. I don't think compared to other women, they're terribly good wrestlers in comparison.
But
they're way more entertaining, and as heels, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
So my prediction, and we already talked about this a little bit. It's hard. I don't see. So Bayley is facing no one for the championship individually.
Nope.
Man, see, I kind of feel like they're not going to do this yet, but they might. And if they do, I feel like the Iconics will win, and then Bliss and Nikki can go after them. And then maybe this is where the separation between Sasha and Bayley. By the way, also, I still want to say, if they don't mic up Bayley the entire time, Bayley is the best shit talker in the WWE.
Right.
I mean, my God, I want to listen to her comment on every single match. She is so freaking awesome. But having said that, it's a toss up. I don't think Bliss and Nikki will win, but it'll be one of the other two.
Okay. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus.
It's a stupid feud, but I think Jeff Hardy will win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that as well. We now have Asuka, the champion, versus Nia Jax. I'm going Asuka. I don't.
So
I'm putting it on Nia Jax. I don't
think you can put and I say this with all respect, because you could kick my ass, but I do not put a belt on somebody that's that dangerous. Literally. I mean, if she doesn't actually hurt Asuka during the match, You know, it's just it to me. It's just she is like I don't even know how to describe it. It's just and she comes off as arrogant and it's seemingly undeservingly so.
Yeah, I definitely she already had the title once. It wasn't anything special. Right? Didn't she hold it once already?
Yeah. And to me, so the problem for me is that she's arrogant as a human being. She's not heel arrogant. She's not, I don't like you and you're doing your job arrogant. She's just has that kind of, I mean, Charlotte, when Charlotte's doing her Charlotte bit, and she's like, I'm a Flair, and I'm just like, okay, that arrogance, I get it, and it's heel arrogance, and it's perfect. When Nia Jax tries to do it, it's just like you're a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but she's just somebody that I think she knows her size and look is going to be half of it. So she may not work as hard when it comes to actually promo wise and mic skills and all that. But
anyway,
I don't see her getting the title. I think it's but again, interesting to note, these are all just rematches of the last 2-3 years of pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Again,
and so who knows?
So again, the main rosters are in need of some fresh talent. NXT. Braun Strowman versus The Miz and John Morrison, a Universal Championship handicap match. I don't know what will happen, but I would love to see The Miz and Morrison be the Universal champs together.
That'd be awesome.
Hilarious. That would be great.
I just, I feel like the time has gone by for Strowman. He's still, to me, he's still a cartoon. And no matter what they try to do, no matter if they want to have him start turning over cars and shit again, he's still a cartoon. And they can't fix that with me.
No, they like we've said this many times. He's now become somewhat of like what the Big Show kind of became in his later years, but it's happening off the bat for him.
Yeah.
The other thing too is he's never going to be as over as Big Show because Big Show came to WWE with history already. I mean, he was a giant. He's had all that stuff. So I mean, again, it's amazing how they'll bring someone in and Bobby Lashley is someone who's trying to get out of that hole. They brought him back and they did the whole, was it Sami Zayn had his sisters on? All that, and then the Lana and Rusev, so yeah, I don't know, and I don't think Strowman is. I just don't see him becoming that guy that they hang the company on. So
having said that though, I wouldn't be down. I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps it.
I'm going to say he'll keep it just because they probably don't want to do the writing for that. But I don't know. It would be weird if they actually pull the trigger on Miz and Morrison winning it again. I would be all for it because I think that would be very entertaining. But I don't see it happening. Next would be it'd be so much fun. The next match is the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, a match that should have happened a while ago. A character or a gimmick that Bobby Lashley should have been playing since he came back to the WWE, not so much time later. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of excited for this match because these are two big physical guys. They're gonna put on a great match. Which that was worth noting too. I didn't watch everything from Raw, but the things I saw, Asuka and Charlotte put on a great main event. And I think this match has. It's funny because the main event of this show right now, I guess it may not be the main event, but the title, the match they're pushing, the greatest wrestling match ever, Edge versus Orton. I see Lashley McIntyre being probably the better match of the night.
I would agree.
So yeah, and I think McIntyre wins.
Yeah, McIntyre will definitely retain. But I think it's a good idea for them to do this with Lashley.
Yeah, they had to.
I mean, literally, they should have, like you said, 3 years ago would have been nice.
Yeah.
3 years ago, him versus Brock would have been nice.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then that last match, Edge versus Randy Orton, it's being dubbed as the greatest wrestling match ever. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know what the whole angle is behind this is supposed to be the greatest wrestling match ever. Both are amazing talents. Both are awesome. But to build this as the greatest wrestling match ever, I mean...
it's certainly not the two greatest wrestlers that have ever been there.
Well, that's just it. And because even in the promos, when Orton made this challenge, like, I will be the best technical wrestler, it's like, okay, no, you're not. Like, give me Jericho and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
That would be one of the great, you know what I mean? Like, those are the people that are going to put on these amazing wrestling matches, where these guys are amazing superstars, can put on amazing matches. But when it gets technical like that, I don't know. But again,
I was just going to say, look, I mean, you can compare this. I think everybody realizes that the naming of it is solely to promote it, because it will not, I guarantee you, it will not compare to Savage Steamboat. No. It will not compare to Bret Hart and Stone Cold. No. It just won't. Those are the two that like immediately pop into my head as these were two of the greatest wrestling matches I've ever seen in my life, both from a execution standpoint and a storytelling standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
This is nowhere close in a storytelling standpoint right now. It's again, go back. I don't want to pick on it because I'm a fan, but it's half-assed.
Mm-hmm.
It's half-assed to get to it, and it's just like somebody in the WWE writing room said, "Well, let's call it the greatest." When did they start with that shit?
When they started doing the Saudi Arabia shows, that's when they started doing these stupid headlines. That's when the greatest Royal Rumble. It's an amazing.
Anyway,
damn it, you're fired. Anyways, I don't know. Edge won the first match, so let's just say Orton wins. I mean, the fact that this is on a second match already. That's the other thing is, why are we still... It was great for Mania. It really was.
Yeah.
It needed to end there, though. Edge is back, and we don't know how long Edge is back for. So I want to see him mix it up with some of the people we never thought we would see him go. I want to see him in AJ Styles. I want to see him in Daniel Bryan. I want to see him in Kevin Owens. I want to see him in Finn Balor. I don't need to see him and his old tag partner, Randy Orton. Again.
See, again, we go back to the whole idea that I just don't think they care. And I don't think they're writing for the wrestling fan. I think they're writing for the 12, 13-year-old kid that doesn't know any difference, that doesn't know any history, that doesn't spot things that don't make sense. I don't know.
I think they're just scared because we're at a point now where, like we've said so many times on this episode tonight, the main rosters could definitely use a breath of fresh air, being it's time to bring up some of these NXT talent that are ready. I mean, here's the deal. Aleister Black's been on the main roster for how long, and he's now just starting to get like some good storylines going. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would love AJ and Edge. It would be an amazing match. I think they're just scared because I think they really, really rely on the fans for when they debut.
Yeah.
That's how they tell if someone's going to make or break it. And I think they're afraid to bring some of these new talents up with no crowd because they don't know how it will come off, or it may not come off how they want it to come off. And without having the crowd there to be the voice to tell them right off the bat, I don't.
What the hell?
Oh no, you're background. And your light must have went off. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there.
Scared. I think that's really what's happening is they're afraid to pull the trigger on stuff because they don't want to do anything major till fans are back. And it's now going to start to bite WWE in the ass if they don't start just doing it. Because again, we were seeing AEW move on and build storylines and still build their roster. And here we are. First of all, you just got rid of a bunch of people back in April. You know, all this stuff. Now's the time where you need to start putting out a great product because you've had a bad start to the year, you know, as a company. And you really need, I mean, the fact that Monday Night Raw viewership is still going down every damn a week says something, you know, so I don't know. Hopefully they figure it out. With all that being said, I'm watching Backlash on Sunday. I'm excited to watch Backlash on Sunday because if nothing else, we'll at least hopefully get some really great action in the ring from some really talented professional wrestlers. You know, that's what it's all about at the end. So, yeah. And I think there are going to be some standout matches. Like we said, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. I am excited to see what happens with Bayley, Sasha, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and the Iconics. I think and then, I think Apollo Crews and Andrade will put on a great match as well. The rest of it, okay. Whatever. You know, we'll see how it all turns out, but I'm excited for it. We'll watch it. And it's weird. I'm so used to them doing the takeover before a pay-per-view. And it's like, why didn't they just do that instead of doing it a week apart? I don't know. Whatever.
They probably did. I mean, they probably didn't have enough time to disinfect everything.
You know, that's the thing too. What's the turnaround rate on sets with them now? Because they gotta get it all out, and they gotta spray the entire room down and all that jazz. So, yeah, man, I don't know, but I'm excited to watch Backlash. I'm excited to watch Dynamite this week. I gotta start watching more Dark. I've been a little behind.
Oh yeah, and then they're really starting to push Dark. It seems. And I haven't watched that. I have watched the NWA. We don't talk about the NWA. They're not doing many tapings. They haven't done any tapings. They have a new thing called Carneyland, and they've got shows on with different people, Eli Drake and Nick Aldis and some of the other guys, and it's shows every day. I haven't watched any of them. I watched the initial This Is Carneyland thing, and I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting, but I was not compelled to watch it because with NWA, I'm not nearly as enthused by that stuff as I am by that studio show that they put together, because I honestly loved that. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's you don't get the kids. Honest to God, man, my kids don't watch wrestling right now, and they got kids.
Yeah.
And so it's all for naught. They're writing for the wrong people. Writing for the wrong people. Anyway. Buddy, it was a great hour and 17 minutes. We did okay.
Yes. And next week we'll bring you the Backlash results.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, as well as we're gonna try to line up a guest next week as well.
We'll get somebody. If it's not a wrestler, we'll get a comedian. I guarantee you we'll have somebody, and we'll have a good time. In the meantime, I want you all to take care of yourselves. Be safe. Here we go. Well, thank you, Dan. We appreciate you looking in, buddy. We really do.
Oh, Dan.
And as always, if you like it, share it with somebody. We appreciate that too.
Yeah, share it and get those shirts.
Oh yeah, and that's what we'll go out with tonight, guys. If you didn't get to see our shirt promo, we'll run that on the way out. And we hope you all have a fantastic evening. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week on the 2 Count.
See ya.